I have a chronic illness that only has recently been diagnosed. I have an autoimmune disease that attacks my autonomic nervous system.
But Siobhan's chronic illness is not her only challenge.
He is not getting the toilet training thing at all.
How bad is it? Like, how many accidents are you getting a day?
Probably 4 to 6 times a day.
Wow.
He tends to do number 1 and number 2s pretty much anywhere he can find.
I'm a little bit worried. It shouldn't be like that at 6 months. That's unusual.
Scouty!
In Melbourne, 6-month-old Scout is jousting with owner Siobhan with the energy you'd expect from a frisky youngster.
That's my jumper. Scout is a little bundle of joy. He's really gentle and he just makes everyone smile. Scouty! Scouty Walker!
But while the energetic Jack Russell Poodle Cross could play all day,
Scouty!
sadly his adoring owner Siobhan can't.
I have a chronic illness that only has recently been diagnosed. I have an autoimmune disease that attacks my autonomic nervous system. It essentially means I struggle with fatigue, eating, anything that your body does automatically, mine doesn't. Scouty, relax.
Siobhan relies on a feeding tube to get the nutrients she needs and a wheelchair whenever she leaves home.
Scouty, come here. I only use my wheelchair when I need it. So I can walk around the house, but I couldn't walk around a grocery store, I couldn't walk around a shopping centre, and some days I honestly struggle to get out of bed.
Scout, no, I'm tired.
Because of my sickness, I spent a lot of time by myself and I wanted a companion dog and a best friend.
But Siobhan's chronic illness is not her only challenge.
Yay. Scout, not again.
So the massive problem with Scout is his toilet training. Well, I should say lack of toilet training.
Scouty, stop it, really?
He tends to do number 1 and number 2s pretty much anywhere he can find.
Little Scouty surprise. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Scout is a really smart dog. We've trained him to sit, stay, roll over. Stay, drop. But toilet training, he just, no. This is a weekly wash because Scout pees on that many things.
Apart from all the mess, Siobhan and her housemate Liam have another reason for urgently wanting to get Scout's toilet training under control.
Do I get a cuddle? Do I get a cuddle?
Siobhan and I are working on a program to take into primary schools to help young students with stress management.
We work with a lot of kids that have behavioural issues, so Scout's a really calming figure and can help kids open up and can make kids feel safe.
But there's no way Scout can visit schools while his toileting remains a problem.
So we're bringing Scout to Kira's today because we're hoping she has some miracle answer.
Oh my goodness, who's this little one? Oh my goodness, little cutie pie, huh? What a little scruffy one.
Yeah. The reality of him not being able to come into schools would be absolutely heartbreaking. I feel like this is our last resort.
So Siobhan, tell me what's going on.
He is not getting the toilet training thing at all. He will just come inside after he's played outside purely to do a wee. We've tried grass mats inside, we've gotten rid of all of our carpet. If he's going in the wrong spot, we pick him up. But I find it really hard with my mobility issues to get up that quickly.
How bad is it? Like, how many accidents are you getting a day?
Probably 4 to 6 times a day.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite a lot.
Definitely.
When Siobhan told me that Scout goes to the toilet inside 4, 5, maybe even 6 times a day, I got a bit worried. It shouldn't be like that at 6 months. That's unusual. So what I've heard you say is that the accidents happen more often inside than outside, and that it can be hard for you to get up quickly. Would it be helpful if he somehow could communicate to you, hey, I need to go outside?
That would be magical, but he can't talk.
Okay, well, I've got an idea for how to solve that.
Okay.
I'll just duck off to my little prop box and I'll be back.
Okay.
I'm a little worried that when Scout was very young, Siobhan didn't quite have the energy to keep up with his need to be let out.
Oh, yep. This is the one.
He thinks it's still okay to go inside, and that needs to change. So I've just picked up this toy, and I reckon that that can actually become our savior.
Okay.
I'll show you how, come with me. Siobhan and Liam looked quite surprised when I said that we were going to teach Scout to tell them when he wanted to go outside a door. It's easy to think that dogs can't communicate with us just because they don't have a verbal language. They're actually phenomenal at using sign language.
What's this? Yeah, what's this?
So I don't really want to make it a toy for him. I just want him to not be scared of it.
The first part of Kira's plan is to train Scout to tell his owners when he wants to go outside.
So I'm just going to close the door just a little wider than his shoulders, not much. And then I'll put him down. Call him.
Scouty, Scouty, come here, Bubba.
Yeah, well done, Scout. He already wants to come out and get treats. Yay. I love that he's so willing to learn. I'm repeating each step of this exercise many times because it's important that Scout has the opportunity to really see, okay, this is what I'm doing.
Well done.
Before I can move on to the next step. Siobhan, this time I'm going to add this toy on the inside of the door. And if Scout gives me any indication that he wants to come through the door by bashing the toy, pushing at the door, or even barking, I'm going to open up the door for him.
Yay, good boy. Well done.
I feel super optimistic at this point. Scout is picking up on the training real quick. And I really like Scout and Siobhan as a team. They match each other well.
Yes, good boy.
My heart leaps with joy when I see Scout bash the toy with his paw. As a trainer, it's one of those moments where you go, bam, yes, got it.
Yay, that was perfect. Good boy.
Now that Scout has mastered ringing his new doorbell, the next step is to teach him to go to the toilet on command.
It's important when he's asked you to be let out that you don't go out and play with him, because then he'll ask all the time.
Yeah.
And if he goes to the toilet, say toilet, toilet, toilet while he goes.
Okay.
Because you want to create association between action and sound.
Yes.
And toilet, toilet. Yay, good boy, Scout.
The idea that Scout could go to the toilet on command is really exciting. He could come into schools, and with my mobility issues, he would just be a lot easier to manage.
You've been so good today. Yes, you have. You're a really awesome boy. So clever.
Liam and I are going to work together to get him tapping that bell so we can work towards having a goal.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Lovely.
Come on, Scouty.
Siobhan is incredibly inspiring to me. She's got so many obstacles in her path, and yet she just forges on. And I'm so impressed with how quickly Scout learned things today. I've got my hopes up high.
See ya. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, good boy.
1 month later, Siobhan and Liam are overjoyed with Scout's progress.
Since seeing Kira, it's actually been life-changing. The nightmare is over. Scout has been able to master the bell, which is awesome.
Yes, Scouty. Good boy.
It means that I have time to be able to get up and let him out.
Toilet, toilet, toilet.
Toilet, toilet, toilet. It's us trying to get Scout to pee on command.
Good boy, Scouty.
He does it probably 70% of the time.
Good boy,
Good boy,
Scouty.
Scouty.
Good work.
The best part about it is not having that constant voice in the back of my head just being like, oh, quick, scan the floor. Has Scout done a wee? Has Scout done a poo? We can really spend more time doing the things that we love.
I'm so excited to take him into schools and for him to meet all the kids and do everything that we always wanted him for.
I love you, Scouty.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kate, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the Bondi Vet YouTube channel. Click on the screen for more great content. And for free, exclusive, never seen before Bondi Vet stories, you can sign up to bondipet.com, and you can do so via the link in the description.